Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel once again. My name is Brandon, I'm an acting and performance coach, and I'm jumping back into Ren today. It's a new artist that I just discovered and kind of fell in love with. One thing I really like to do is buckle down on an artist and really try to push out some content on them whenever they come with a fan base that is very open, very kind, very generous in the way they engage. I really appreciate the fans of Ren out there who have been on the channel, who've been commenting. You've all had very, very positive attitudes, very positive vibes all around. I appreciate that. I'm sure Ren does too. Without further ado, I'm going to take most of your suggestions. It's called The Tale of Jenny and Screech. It comes in 3 parts. The first is Jenny, the second is Screech, and the third I think is called Violet. I found one video that has all 3 put together. We're going to do them all right now. I don't know if I'm going to publish it as one video or if I'm going to break it up and publish it in 3. So that really just depends on editing and exporting. I don't have the best computer, so sometimes longer videos are more difficult for my computer to handle. It's just easier for me to break them up into more consumable chunks. So we'll see how that goes. I hope you guys will appreciate it either way. And if I do break it up into thirds, they won't be far apart. If you are watching on YouTube and you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. I plan on following this artist for a while. I'm incredibly impressed by him. So if you're a fan of his and you want to see some of that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that little bell icon so you can get notified when I upload a new video. Leave me a comment. Let me know what songs I should do next. But having said all that, let's just get into this one, The Tale of Jenny and Screech. Starting with the guitar. That's not the melody I was expecting. I love his vibe, bro.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street, somewhere in London City.
Nice.
Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before. She wanted to escape. Can you blame? Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there was this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain. He'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech. He was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief. At 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul.
Okay, so it's really good. It just started and already I'm in love with it. So I think the first thing I noticed, coming from my perspective, right, my background, the things that I pick up on. So there was this moment when he was walking along, started delivering the lines very speech-like, and then you see him kind of looking around and kind of ducking his head like he's checking corners and just seeing, oh, I see something over there, what's happening? It was very natural. It felt very much like somebody just walking down the street, telling you a story, talking to you on a normal day. It was very conversational. His body language was incredibly conversational, very authentic and natural. And then cannot tell you how much I appreciate the way this man tells stories, not just with the lyrics and not just even with the music on its own, but the way he incorporates the two together, and they work so well together. And you could just tell the moment the mood shifted in the tone, in the notes that he was playing. I'm not a musician. I know that there are certain notes, certain combinations of notes, certain changes that you can make in a melody that communicate certain messages that make us feel uneasy, make us feel threatened, to make us feel joyful. There are certain formulas that you can use musically. I know that. I just don't know what they are specifically. I can't tell you, oh, he went up a minor this or a whatever. I don't know those things, but what I do know is how it makes me feel. And when he shifted, it was so interesting because the music still kind of felt, or still kind of sounded happy, a little jaunty, maybe flippant is a good word, but it was obviously more sinister. And then of course he started talking about the hooded youth. I can tell, I think from the direction of it, that youth is going to do something unpleasant perhaps to Jenny. So I mean, we're going to see where that's going. I'm loving that it's a story. That's great for me. It really fits right in my wheelhouse. I'm really excited about this. Those few things that I mentioned are just 2 of multiple things I picked up on in his body language, in the way he's using his cadence, his facial expressions, little things he's doing with his feet. There's a ton of stuff going on here that I really love, and that it's just so technically sound but incredibly natural. I don't know that he's necessarily been trained to do those things. I just know that he's doing them very well because he seems to be a very natural performer and a very authentic human being, as in someone who would simply allow himself to be vulnerable and open and let you see what's going on the inside of him without the walls. And that's kind of what we're getting here, a person who can just throw up that fourth wall and live in the story. I want to hear the shift again.
Well, on the very same night,
just his tone of voice.
There was this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain he'd been smoking ganja with the boys.
Everything about what he did, the moment it changed, it wasn't even in the guitar. He didn't even start the change with a guitar strum or a pick. It started with his voice.
Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor. Well, on the very same night, in a different place.
And it wasn't even just the tone. The tone certainly was shifted. It did change, but it was the attitude. It was the emphasis that he put on his voice. It was the force with which he expelled the air.
He was 14 years old and out of his brain.
It was much more forceful. It was more aggressive. His consonants were sharper. He did a ton of things there that were very indicative of the emotional shift he was trying to communicate without even playing a note on his guitar. And other little things, the way he tensed his neck and kind of jutted his head forward, all of these things denoted aggression. All of these things alluded to potential violence or threat. It's such an amazing performance.
Out of his brain, he'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech. He was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief. At 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like
right there. As soon as he went back to Jenny, maybe as from a third person perspective, but back to her point of view, he softened, his tone softened. He really didn't get quieter, but his breath was more relaxed. He wasn't forcing the words out so like aggressively, and he wasn't hitting his consonants quite so hard.
His mates called him Screech. He was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief, at 14 years old. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like
there wasn't that sort of like arrogant attitude when he was singing from the young boy's perspective. He was throwing his hands up and blah blah, and it was these big bombastic movements and sort of just presence vibe. And he doesn't have that when he's singing from Jenny's perspective, because it's just a great way to communicate a tonal shift. He is telling a story with every single tool available to him. That's kind of rare and really awesome. Also, pay attention to how much more gently he strums and picks at the guitar when he's singing from Jenny's perspective. It's just everything.
18 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something in the air. A divine intervention telling her to beware, maybe intuition bugging her and making her so scared. Sirens sound in the distance with the beat of Jenny's feet. A symphony of the night that echoes crime on London streets. Jenny turns a corner, their eyes they meet. Up or go Jenny, a boy named Screech. Give me all your money, bitch, give it to me.
Wow.
If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it. Bitch, are you listening to me?
Okay, just a quick note. I know that this is really intense. One of the other things that I really love about the way he's delivering this performance is, I mean, he's telling it from a third person perspective, right? So that's really interesting as well to be giving this sort of bird's eye view of this happenings from these two different perspectives, these two lives crossing paths, sort of fate colliding. But one of the cool things about the way he's doing it, changing up the tempo and the cadence in which he's delivering his lines in a way that makes it feel much more like a slam poetry reading rather than traditional song lyrics. In the first song I heard of his, he made a comment in the lyrics that his music isn't really mainstream like that. And this is not something that you could really get a mainstream label to bite on until you were already successful, because it's risky, because it's sort of experimental, because it's very loose and free. And unless you're going into jazz, they don't really like that. So this is really, really cool to hear. He's just got a really interesting ear, and the way he tells stories, just zipping through some of these lines to fit in what he needs, but never ever feeling like he's out of the pocket. It's really impressive.
Are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stallion. If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch. Are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stalactite. Feel like liquid nitrogen in the dark night. She tried to find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes. What the hell you playing at? You playing games with me? I swear to fucking God, I'll slice the rosy off your cheeks. You think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete, and he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath.
So there's tons of really cool stuff to talk about here. The way he's changing up his tone and the sort of attitude between each of these two characters when he shifts perspectives is really, really interesting and impressive. He's a great storyteller. One of the things that I'm noticing that kind of just stands out to me is that the cadence and the rhythm with which he speaks and delivers his lines is much more chaotic on its own. He's communicating the message of the story beyond just the lyrics, beyond the music, even in his cadences. When he jumps to Jenny, his rhythm is almost childlike. The rhyme schemes are much more simple. They're much more formulaic. They're much more traditional. And then when he jumps back to Screech, it becomes very chaotic. He starts forcing in a bunch of syllables into places where they maybe ought not fit. He gets them in there. I mean, he's staying in the pocket, but he's really communicating and showing the differences in their personalities, the difference in the world views, their like place in life, and what the way they're feeling, the way they're interacting with the world, and the way they're experiencing their life through more than just the lyrics, more than just the music. It's in his body language, the tone of voice, in his cadences, the word choices, in the rhythm of his speech. It's also in the way in which he speaks, whether however strong or forceful or aggressive he's speaking, or rather pulling it back and speaking more softly and more passively. Same thing with the guitar and the way he picks it, whether he's picking it incredibly aggressively and harshly, or he's just really gently playing it. He's just telling the story 100% in every direction. And I'm getting a little overwhelmed, honestly. It's incredible to watch.
And he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath.
That's such interesting imagery. That
was
breath.
A quiet dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny lay still on the cold concrete. She's found somewhere to sleep.
Wow.
Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, 'cause she'd walked it about 1,000 times before. I guess that she escaped. It's such a shame.
That's so beautiful. Very jazzy. Definitely fits with the style he's giving off here. All right, so that's part one. That was Jenny, right? That was really intense. It was so weird because part of my experience of that song, and that's what you guys are here for, right? To see my experience. Part of my experience of that particular part of this trilogy was to be stuck in this weird place where I'm enjoying the music. It's kind of a bop. It's a really cool tempo and texture. There's a lot of stuff going on, different changes, really kept me engaged and interested. But at the same time, the story was incredibly intense and sad and evocative. I was stuck in this place of being really into the music and being really put off by the content, which is a really cool place to be emotionally as an audience member. Certainly not boring. I cannot wait to see what the next two parts are going to bring. He just loves his guitar. You can just tell how much he loves that instrument. I'm kind of nervous. Much more menacing to start this one off. Screech.
Our story, it starts right at the end of the life of poor Jenny, clocked out like Big Ben. This Screech, dear boy, where did he go?
Wow.
He melted into the black night just like no. Patrick, man, let me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up, man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor. I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more.
Wow. Okay, so some of the stuff from the jump of this song, there's so much going on. There's so many different ways, so many different methods of storytelling happening simultaneously and working together, cooperating. First of all, the minstrel vibe, right? The sort of like old time, traveling minstrel telling the stories with his songs. It's got that kind of vibe to it. He's certainly got a little bit of a speech quality to it. It's just a story. He's just telling a story in an incredibly beautiful and very poetic way. It's just gorgeous. But then whenever he jumped into Screech's perspective, again, when he jumped into the perspective of Screech, once again, we saw another layer of storytelling. So the guitar playing got a little more erratic, and of course, so did the cadence in the speech, because Screech is freaking out. He's scared. So yeah, he's more panicked. But one thing that I noticed immediately was the camera work, the cinematography. It almost felt floaty before. Like it almost had this sort of a gentle feel to it as it traveled along with him as he told the stories. But as soon as he jumped into Screech's perspective, it got a little more rigid, and it started spinning around him really quickly. A lot more movement, a lot more of that sort of shaky cam feel. All that does to me, and all it does, I'm assuming, to the majority of the people who watch the video, is communicate the erratic, sort of panicked, spinning out of control feeling that Screech is going through. Just brilliant, top to bottom. It's so good. Right here.
Patrick, man,
Start
let
shaking.
me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up, man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor. I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more.
Wow.
But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate, with something far more sinister in mind that does away.
Panicked breaths.
Hey, babe, you in? Nah, nothing really, I'm just a bit tired, listen. Can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch, for fuck's sakes!
Wow.
Siren sounds approaching like a banshee in the night. The shrill cry of justice cutting like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking have you then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets? These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working London on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest.
Oh, wow. So it's no longer just my opinion, right? It's no longer me pointing things out that are subtle. Like, hey, look at this little thing that he did that told the story. Look at that little thing that he did. No, this was in your face, a definite example. Look, I'm going to use my guitar. Here's the gun. Those are the shots. The camera shaking is him receiving the wounds. This is the story. I'm telling you the story with every tool at my disposal. I'm giving you the entire thing. I want to be enthralled by the story right now and heartbroken at the loss of this poor kid who's obviously not well. He's obviously not doing well and not experiencing the best parts of life. And he ended up in a horrible situation, made a horrible mistake. And then at 14, that's so depressing. At 14, found his end at a policeman's pistol. It's really sad, and I want to be in that moment, but there's that part of me on top of that just can't help but be thrilled by the expert level of storytelling that I'm getting from this performance. So I'm really conflicted. What's going to happen is I'm going to get through this with you guys, and then I'm going to go back and listen to this maybe 6, 7 more times and really experience it from several different perspectives, more from this sort of like really excited and impressed, exhilarated feeling. But I'm going to find some time where it's really going to hit me emotionally. It's just one of those songs that you can peel back layer by layer, performances, art pieces. You can peel back and experience from multiple different angles. It's such a beautiful talent, and it's so creative, so well done. I'm so impressed by it. On a more somber note, this subject is hitting me. Like, again, I know I look really excited. I've got a big smile on my face, but at the same time, this subject does hit me really hard. I'm in the United States, and in the United States, this kind of story is becoming more and more common, and it's already way too common. So the idea is hitting a little close to home from that perspective. So that is going on too. That's underneath all of this. I think it's a really important message so far that I'm hearing that he's getting out. I'm really excited to hear the conclusion in the third part, but it's really interesting to see his perspective on it and to see this story told once again from this sort of like multiple aspects. Like it came from Jenny's perspective, now Screech, the third party perspective is involved, and I don't know what we're going to do in the next one. I'm assuming it's going to be a funeral, with the name of the song being Violet, but we'll see. I'm really excited about this. It's just so good. It's so good. Wow.
Our story, it ends right at the start. Young Screech and poor Jenny lying one street apart. An officer shaken by the boy that he claimed. 2 bodies lay lifeless, and it's such a shame.
Wow.
It's such a shame.
Ooh, that was lovely. Okay. That was Screech. Just to summarize some of my thoughts, the performance again was 100%. It was from a 360 perspective. Everything that he did, every motion, using the physical guitar, the way he plucked the strings, the tone and tension in his voice, the speed of the cadence, the way he moved, the way the camera moved. That moment when the camera moved around him when he first started speaking as Screech after he knocked on the door, indicating sort of Screech's state of mind and his panicking and spiraling in that moment. It was all done incredibly well. It was all beautifully put together. I don't know who his team is, and I don't know how much of this is just him or how much is other people pitching in, and it doesn't really matter either way. If it is just him, then it's incredibly impressive, but if there's a great team around him, that's still just as impressive, and it's a beautiful job of people working together to build something so cohesive. It was so well done. There at the end too, there was this little sense, it definitely got minstrel vibe, but there at the end, there was almost this sense of ironic detachment, that sort of almost dramatized or exaggerated sorrow in the tone of his voice. And I think that was on purpose. I might be wrong here. Some of you may disagree, but it felt to me like that was on purpose. Like he wasn't expressing genuine sorrow at the loss of Jenny and Screech in that moment. It was sort of a comment on the way that we view these things. These things happen so often. And yes, they're so very sad. They're so very sad. Now, can you pass the butter, please? Right? Like that's kind of what happens in our society, at least here in the United States. Nowadays, homeless people, or people who are caught up in bad situations financially or in their family situations, make mistakes, do things, people die, people get hurt. The world just keeps spinning. And that's kind of the vibe I got from it. He had the very sorrowful sounds, and he was like kind of howling at the moon about it. But at the same time, it just felt a little hollow. And I know for a fact that he's not going to do that on accident. He's not going to express an emotion and not have it land. And I've only heard one song of his before this, but I know that about him already. He's an incredibly genuine performer. So if he seems or he's coming across a little mocking to me, if he's coming across a little disingenuous, I have to believe that that's on purpose. And that's what it felt like to me. It felt like a comment on the idea of how quickly and how crassly our societies today tend to move past the tragedies that happen all the time, so often, and so often so near us. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that one right here. So that was the tale of Screech. We're moving on. I think the next one is called Violet, so I'm moving on to that immediately.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it. they would never understand. It's not their fault. Everyone's just doing the best they can with what they have.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel once again. My name is Brandon, I'm an acting and performance coach, and we're jumping on to the last of the 3 songs in the tale of Jenny and Screech. This one I think is called Violet. I'm really looking forward to getting back into this with you guys. If you're watching on YouTube and you're enjoying what you're watching, especially if you've seen the first 2 and you're still here, consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out, and I think something like 90% of the people who watch my channel aren't subscribed, so it would really help me out if you hit that little button, click that bell icon, maybe throw a like on the video if you enjoy it, leave me a comment, let me know where to go in the journey of this man's music next, because I'm certainly not gonna stop anytime soon. Thank you so much for being here. Let's just jump into this one. I gotta see how this story rounds out. We're just gonna jump into it. I'm just excited to see this man finish this story because it has been a masterclass so far. Oh, someone's not dead. Oh, Violet's Tale, that's a name. I was way off. He's so good. Catches me off guard sometimes. Guys. Okay, guys, I needed a little break. Those of you on my Patreon, if you've been here before, if you didn't just find me through him, you know that I can get overwhelmed sometimes, and I really feel like this was going to break me. I don't know why, but something about, like, I've had a hard time emotionally sort of letting go in the first 2 performances. I was so wrapped up in the performance and the camera work and the acting, but that one just really hit home. That something about that guitar playing. He's so passionate, man. So I don't know what to expect or how well I'm going to do for this one, but something about the way he begins these with this guitar sort of journeys, it kind of reminds me of musicals or operas. You have this sort of setup at the beginning that kind of goes through the musical motifs and sort of sets the stage and basically spells out what to expect in the musical. And there's a reason to do that psychologically with an audience. There's a reason to do that because it builds a sense of familiarity with all the different pieces, with the different sounds that you're going to be hearing throughout the performance. When you get 2/3 of the way through, they strike a chord that feels familiar because you heard it at the beginning of the piece, and it creates a sense of security and attachment to the song that you wouldn't have had otherwise. It's a brilliant way to write music. You don't see it a lot in mainstream music. This young man is a genius. He looks terrified. Almost like a toddler.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstains, she saw a lady weep, she's tired and frail. To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale.
My God. He's a genius. The guy's a genius. Did you hear the way he rewound time with his guitar? It seemed like it's one of those things that seem incredibly simple, and it's a sound, it's a progression of sounds that we all recognize as meaning moving backwards. We all feel it. It's something that's used in films and been used in music forever. But he's just a genius. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. It's so simple. The timing of it, the rhythm of it, the way that little pause, the little beat that he took right before it happened, the way the camera followed his hand back across the guitar, and then he wrote. It was just good. It was just so good. His level of creativity and the cohesion of his pieces, the cohesion, that's the thing that gets me the most. It's all synchronized so beautifully. It's all working together so well. I am floored. I'm just absolutely floored. So good.
Violet was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. I'll spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks. She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick. Violet was a silent girl and Violet she fell fast. See, Stevie was a wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. History repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance.
Oh my God.
The devil comes to dance.
So I feel like it's important to take a quick moment for the context of the song because it's incredibly heartbreaking, beyond tragic, and this kind of material affects me more than I care to admit. But turning my attention toward the performance for just a minute, he once again did, and I think I got it right before, because in the last video, because he once again did the thing where he's telling this incredibly tragic and heartbreaking story. There's a little bit of a jaunty feel to the music, but then he also kind of has a little grin on his face. It's a little bit of a smile, and it feels like a minstrel's mask. It feels like someone who is playing their part, doing their job to tell the story and to entertain. And all the while, you saw him when he rose up from the hospital bed and kind of took that sigh and shook himself off. It's like, okay, I gotta get ready. I have to do the thing. I have to play my part. I have to do my job and tell the story and wear a smile and entertain the people. It's wearing on him, and you can see that. So there is this sense of detachment. There is this sense of, look, I'm gonna like play around, and this is the story we're telling. And yes, it's tragic and it's so horrible. Aren't you entertained? There definitely seems to be a commentary here on the way our society views, sensationalizes, maybe even romanticizes, certainly dismisses the real life tragedies that happen around us all the time. And as entertainers, there's something being said here about how entertainers approach these topics and how they get used certainly to benefit of society by shining lights on them, giving voices to the voiceless, and allowing people to identify, find catharsis, maybe find courage, recognize that they're not alone. Those are all good things, but at the same time, there is a cynical side of it that makes it feel much more like exploitation. So it's a beautifully crafted message. He's doing it so well because he's not telling that story with the lyrics at all. That story is coming completely from his countenance, from his disposition, from his attitude, from his the way he's carrying himself and delivering the performance beyond the performance. All right, the things that are happening away from him singing, those are the things that are telling that backstory, the subtext. Just a genius. He's absolutely brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant.
Left the room, history repeats itself. He'd paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance.
It's so brilliant. The story's so tragic, but the presentation is so brilliant.
Why you always...
Sorry. I'm sorry. Those of you on YouTube, I gotta stop for just a second. I was trying to get through this entire thing without pausing for you guys at all, but the storytelling is just so brilliant. You notice the way the camera went up the stairs as he rose up the notes to his head voice, and then when he started coming back down, the devil's in the right, he started traveling back down the scale. The camera came back down, found him at ground level, and they moved on. The storytelling throughout this entire piece. It's so cohesive, it's so synchronized, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely like genius level. This is, I'm almost speechless at it, despite how much I'm talking. I'm sorry.
The devil comes to dance. Violet, why are you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet, why are you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent, things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood's black bone, crack, knick, knack, paddywhack, one to the jaw when the tooth spat, detached, fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess, he's left her bruised and broke. Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I wanna do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence. Wait. Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet.
That was really hard.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets. Two twins aligned side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
I know what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to feel, but every time I look around, it's there, staring me right in the face. I try to stay strong, to have hope. They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it. They would never understand. It's not their fault. Everyone's just doing the best they can with what they have. It's just... Sometimes I wish I could just forget, you know, just forget how absolutely f***ed this world can be.
I have to say something to wrap this up. But I got to be honest, even now, the more I think about, or when I think about that performance, I'm kind of just struck, right? I'm just in a state of shock. It's like it was so unexpected, really. The content of the first two pieces of that trilogy were brutal and sad and tragic, but at the same time, I wasn't put down by them completely. And I think, look, you may say, well, that last one maybe was a different context, different circumstances that got to you differently. Maybe. I think this is what I think. I think that he arranged that story in such a way, and that he composed the music in such a way, and kept the tempo and the beat and the rhythm and the changes and all of the adjustments and the switches, the modulations, everything that he did, I think, was composed and constructed in such a way that kept the audience, engaged and simultaneously horrified and thrilled, and kept my interest and kept me going forward. But that last one, it's like from the moment that he did the shake and had to get back in it, the artifice kind of broke, and I saw beyond that jaunty sort of minstrel vibe guy, that guy who was just dancing around and having a good time telling the story, entertaining people, being interesting, being entertaining, enjoying the attention, right? That storyteller, he broke for a minute, and I saw the wear that was happening to the man underneath, and adding that to the line that keeps sticking out to me is the streets of London. That line in particular relates to what I'm saying in a way that, because it really paints now. Look, this is me saying, sure, we went through the story, we told the story, we talked about these things, and everybody had a good time, enjoyed the music. But the point is that this place is broken, that there's evil out there, and it's happening all around us, all the time. This is heavy. This is gross and tragic and disturbing and infuriating, and it's happening all the time. That's the message. I'm so glad you enjoyed it up till now, but I'm not going to just sit here and let you keep bobbing your head. I'm not going to let you walk away from this with a big smile, fond memory of this piece of music that you just consumed. I'm going to deliver this last piece in a way that will affect you, that will stick with you, that will hit you deep down in your core. I'm going to deliver this in a way that will make you remember that this is real life. And that's what he did to me anyway. I don't know if that was your experience or not, but it was mine. And I've heard that Ren sometimes watches reactors that react to his channel or to his music. If you happen to ever see this, I want you to know that I'm incredibly impressed by you. I'm also, more than that, just grateful to have people like you in positions to speak and to express and to create and to deliver messages like that, because it's incredibly important. It's so powerful the way you did it. There's so many ways to deliver those stories that are fruitless and arbitrary and exploitative, and you delivered that story in such a beautiful and poignant and impactful way. Thank you so much. Yeah, I guess it's the outro, right? So yeah, subscribe, like button, leave me a comment, do all the things. Self-promotion feels really cheap at this moment, so I'm just going to drop that there. If you enjoyed it, stick around. We listen to more music all the time, and I'm going to keep exploring this artist for sure. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, though I don't even know if that's possible. Please remember, please remember, be kind to each other. And most importantly, be kind to yourself.